Hello. Welcome to Parkland Media. I am your host, Spade Parkland. Thank you for clicking on the video. According to my analytics, a lot of people who watch my content have not subscribed to the channel. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on any notifications. Hit the notification bell and make sure it's set to all. If you want to support the channel, you can hit the join button that's located to the right of the subscribe button. Please hit the thumb up, and you can also support by clicking the three dots to the right of the share button. I'm on a desktop when I'm recording this, and it'll give you the option to donate with a super thanks to support the platform. If you enjoy my content and you want a lot of videos to watch while you're driving, doing errands, or doing things around the house, at work, whatever, you can go to the home tab and click on podcast, and I keep all of my videos in a From MGM Plus playlist. Another way you can support is through donation through Cash App, $Spade Parkland, $Spade Parkland. Last but not least, follow me everywhere. Go to the homepage and go up, and it says allmylinks.com/Spade Parkland. Thanks for watching, and now enjoy the video.
It's showtime.
Hello. Welcome. If you are new here, please subscribe. Click the notification bell, thumb up the video, share everywhere, including your YouTube community tab. Please and thank you. If you are returning, welcome home. So yes, it is not clickbait. I believe Kelly created a new faraway tree. So I previously went over the Kelly situation where Kelly was impaled to a tree, and I kind of went over that already, but looking at it with a fresh pair of eyes, I think I missed something. Maybe you did too, or maybe you were already thinking this, who knows? But let's just jump into it without further ado. This is season 2, episode 3. We'll just say 1 or 2 episodes from The People on the Bus Showing Up in the Town, season 2. So that's Kelly's phone. I believe it might be a rye bar. We'll just call it a metal pole. So the metal pole is in her head. Kenny went to one of the traps that he created to trap something. It was missing the pole to hold the trap up. So obviously someone or something more than likely took the bar. But I think that someone took the bar, going to the trap to get whatever animal was caught inside, saw Kelly escaping or running away from the creatures, destroying Brian, who she came with, and whoever got the animal from the trap used the bar to impale her to the tree. What we're witnessing is another part of the ceremony or ritual involved with creating a faraway tree. Jesus. So fun fact, I actually tried to take the image of her cell phone and put it into Google to see what would come up. Nothing came up. So, and I also tried to make heads or tails on the Brian and Kelly coming on the bus and having some type of relation to Boyd's Brian Kelly, who died in his arms, his first tour in Iraq. Couldn't make heads or tails. Brian said he grew up on a farm. He had a fatigue backpack that I was thinking, well, maybe that had something to do with the Brian Kelly that Boyd served with. I couldn't make a clean and logical correlation. So because the writers more than likely have moved away from that mystery, I doubt that we're going to see anything from it season 4 and season 5. I moved away from it as well. Just a sidebar. All right, let's keep going. All right, so as Kenny picks up the phone, what do you currently see on the screen? What do you see? What do you see? I'll give you a moment to kind of see if you can kind of tell, or see what I saw the 4th time looking at this. Did you see it yet? I know you're probably in the comment section typing away. I don't see anything. Are you talking about the phone? Are you talking about Ellis? No, right here. So this appears to be somewhat of an opening. I'm going to let the scene breathe a little bit. So that tree is very thick. Here's the significance of a thick tree. So the thicker or wider a tree is, the older it is. All the other trees in the scene, they appear to be somewhat, we'll just say thin or young. Even the ones that are not as thin as the ones over here they're older, but not as old as this one right here. So this tree appears to be out of place. So as you can see, the trees, they're the same density or thickness as this one right here. Most of the trees in the forest that are a part of the open natural set, the trees are pretty much like this. And here's another shot of the colonists. So the tree that he's on in this scene, it's the same kind of like width of his head. Whereas this tree is definitely larger than the width of a normal human head. Now, looking at the scene with Julie and Ethan with the story walking, even the trees seem they're the same width as the tree right here. Most of the trees in this forest are not that thick, meaning that the trees are not naturally wide enough for this forest to be considered older. I don't know anything about trees. Maybe someone in the comment section is a tree expert, but we'll just say this tree is 30 years old. This tree right here has to be at least 90 compared to this 30, maybe even older than that. The reason why that makes a difference is with all these trees being the same width as this tree right here, is more than likely when this forest was created, it was all created at once. Victor, talking to Ethan, season 1, demonstrating the faraway tree. Notice the faraway tree, how thick it is. This over here is when Boyd was in the forest and he was looking for stuff, and all the trees look the same thickness. Oh, not that. The same thickness as the trees in the background of the scene. So they're all pretty much the same. So the reason why that makes a difference is that the art department actually has to make these trees. They have to make them large enough for someone to fit inside of it. So on a previous video, I actually I showed a behind the scenes with the art department making everything from the lighthouse to the buildings and structures in town, even the dungeon, the ruins. They made everything from scratch. And up here on the upper right, this is how a faraway tree looks. This is the one that Victor was showing to Ethan. This also was the other one that was used when Victor took Tabitha to the bottle tree and said that's where he found Miranda, his mom. And you see how thick it is in this theory. Based off what we've seen behind the scenes, hopefully you've seen the videos that I posted, or I put the behind the scenes of the art department at the end of the videos that I did. The faraway trees are thick. They make them for someone to fit inside. And it appears that these thick trees that are not real, that are made from scratch, they're the only thick trees out there. So they couldn't just take a tree and drill a hole in it and clear it out, for environmental reasons, of course, but also because there are no trees out there that are that thick. So for this tree right here that Kelly's on to be as thick as it is, based off what we've seen behind the scenes and what we've seen on the show, this appears to not be a real tree in theory. And so this hole could have been created like with the other faraway trees to show a faraway tree being created. Now, on a previous video, another video I'm referencing, I mentioned that I believe that there are still teddy bears being sacrificed. There's still a cult. There's humans that are living in the caves, cave dwellers. They're still sacrificing teddy bears. They're still doing rituals. They're still moving forward with the belief system and faith that I believe that the original townspeople had with the original Jade and original Tabitha. If you are making a deal with it, a Faustian bargain, you more than likely, in my opinion, are part of a cult. You more than likely would continue with cult practices even after having everlasting life. So the same way that the kimono woman knelt before the creatures and presented the pod that turned into Smiley, it's more than likely there's humans who are cave dwellers that live in the caves, live in the forest, or maybe they're in another town that we haven't seen yet. Maybe they're part of the settlement. They live in the settlement area. Whatever the deal is, I believe that there's humans that are in Fromville, possibly worshiping and giving praise to the original townspeople who are creatures, and continuing on with the sacrifice practices of sacrificing teddy bears. And I think that that's what we're looking at here with this tree, as in this tree was created because there's currently teddy bears in the cave system, in the chambers, laying on slabs of rock, that are born in the dark. In the dark, they're eliminated. And when they pour their hope, their shine, their psychic ability into roots, the roots become symbols, and the symbols, they don't really become faraway trees. They take an existing tree and transform it into a faraway tree. So, in other words, the trees are somewhat corrupted, in my theory, when the roots become the symbol, and the symbol creates faraway trees. That they take an existing tree, existing roots, transform them into faraway trees, and that's when they become wider for someone to fit inside, to be transported or teleported somewhere. So in other words, the faraway trees, they become doors. They're regular trees that, after this ritual takes place, they become doorways. And maybe the doorway or the faraway tree is a byproduct of the ritual, or maybe that's the whole intention of the ritual, is to create these faraway trees. I mean, for the boy in white to tell Victor, when Victor was trying to chop it down, that it's important, would mean that it's not like a happy accident. I think that not only are the faraway trees important, but that was maybe the whole point of the ritual. Maybe the original townspeople, not just trying to get everlasting life, maybe they wanted to be able to get a doorway to go back home to England. So they wanted a doorway home to England, and it promised them everlasting life, and they were like, you know what, we'll take that in addition to this doorway to go home. But for some reason, the faraway trees didn't work for them, or they didn't trust it, or whatever, and they're not using them, because we never see the creatures on the show actually use the faraway trees, but they're there. Smiley took out Miranda before Miranda could get into the bottle tree, which is a faraway tree. So it's got to be somewhere else they can go that they haven't gone to make one of the creatures, Smiley, run. And I think that the creatures don't use the faraway trees because they're, as Victor says, temperamental, meaning you can't really control where they take you, where they send you. So the creatures are like, we wanted the door, but we don't trust it, especially since sometimes when you make a bargain, you might get more than what you bargained for. So when playing out the rest of the scene, Kelly seems fine. She seems cool on what I'm going to call a baby faraway tree. Let's watch the rest of the scene.
We have to bring her back into town. Bury her.
Why would they do that?
Just put the goddamn flowers down and help.
So Kelly, she seems like she's unconscious, maybe asleep. I think what happened was when the original Jade tried to interfere and stop the other townspeople or original townspeople from completing the ritual, I think they did this to him and made him or forced him to be a part of the ritual. Whereas what happened to him is also happening to Kelly, where Kelly is forced to be a part of the ritual. Maybe a sacrifice needed for the tree to complete the process of becoming a faraway tree. So in addition to having teddy bears to sacrifice as a part of a Faustian bargain, maybe to create a faraway tree, you need a human sacrifice in order for that to be created. Because it wouldn't really make sense for, let's say, if the original Jade was wanting to stop the children from being sacrificed, it wouldn't make sense for them, talking about the original townspeople, to impale him to a tree unless they decided to use him versus using someone else. Or maybe one of the original townspeople were going to sacrifice themselves so that everyone else could have everlasting life. And then when Jade, the original Jade, tried to stop it, they were like, you're going to be the guy that we sacrifice and take out. I still believe that whoever did this to Tabitha and Jade's original daughter also did this to Kelly and also did this to the original Jade. Like it's kind of like this is the MO. And I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out that whoever did this impaling may be the big bad, or it could be maybe somebody underneath the man in the yellow suit. Maybe it's even the man in the yellow suit. Because when you think about it, okay, and taking a detour, when looking at the man in the yellow suit or just kind of thinking about him as far as the concept, if we're going to go with someone on the show becoming the man in the yellow suit, which I've kind of like flirted with the idea with, I mentioned that it more than likely would be Randall, since they did cut open his mouth and his throat. And I think they put something down his mouth and throat that could turn him into somebody looking like a boss. But let's just say it's not Randall. And I know people have thrown around Ethan. Maybe Ethan, I mean, I've done that in the comment section and whatnot. Maybe Ethan can turn into the man in the yellow suit, especially after finding out that Jade and Tabitha used to be married. Those three went into the forest. 2 came back. Jim is deceased. So it could even be Ethan. There's an argument for that. But I think if kind of like looking at it conceptually, I think that Randall, if given the opportunity, would still want to go home. And I think even Ethan still would want to go home. So for someone to turn into the man in the yellow suit would mean that not only do they not want to go home, they also have a vendetta against Jim. And there's only one character on the show that I can think of, unless they introduce some more or they create another storyline, that will logically have a vendetta against Jim and would not want to go home to obtain some type of power or something. Okay, so I started to make a separate video for this, but I'll take a detour talking about this new faraway tree. But it would make the most sense for Victor, who believes that he is home, Fromville is his home. And he's also said that it's not good to ask questions. Knowledge comes with a cost. If watching on your phone and using the YouTube app, there's a new free feature called Hype. That's when you're using your cell phone, mobile phone, same thing. And it's to the right of the thanks, above the description and below the video. Clicking Hype, this is the Hype right there. Clicking Hype, if you see it, when you see it, it tells YouTube to provide promotion for videos you enjoy. It's a new free feature for the phone app only, and you can hype 3 times a week max. And see the pictures below and hype me up. Okay, hype me up. Hype me up. Let's get the party started. And you can go to my my post area and you can kind of see all these, unless you've already seen them. And if you've already hyped me up, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He is home. He is home. And I think the man in the yellow suit is walking around in the day and not transforming to attack people like the creatures, because his Faustian bargain was more than likely different than the creatures. As in, let's just entertain this being like Victor turning into the man in the yellow suit. We see him go after Jim, rip out Jim's throat. I believe that the rest of that scene that we're going to see sometime in the future is going to be the man in the yellow suit talking to Julie. And Julie knows that the man in the yellow suit was Victor, who made a deal to protect his home, Fromville, be stronger. Because remember, when Jim manhandled Victor, Victor was weak. He's older, he's weaker, he's afraid. So the deal I think that Victor would make would be to be stronger, more confident, to be powerful, to protect himself and protect his home. So with that being said, it would make sense that the man in the yellow suit could be Victor. And then when the man in the yellow suit was talking to Jim, he was like, is this Jim Matthews? Who would address Jim by first and last name, know him, and somewhat sound sinister? Someone who was kind of pushed around, and bullied by Jim while Jim was alive. Remember season 1? All Victor wanted to do was talk to Ethan after Ethan communicated that he met the boy in white. Well, Victor went to Ethan in the diner and said 4 inches, talking about the trees. And he and Ethan went on an adventure later on, but Jim had manhandled Victor, and someone like Victor, who's been in Fromville, hasn't really had much contact with humans, hasn't really had much contact with conflict. He probably was traumatized by that confrontation with Jim, and being traumatized, he probably deep down was re-traumatized, like when he left the root cellar and saw everyone laid out and then also found his mom deceased. So he was traumatized back then, and Jim probably re-traumatized him. When it comes to, I know I'm taking a whole bunch of sidebars, but when it comes to life, I'm not saying it's good to fight and be bullied and to go through stress and drama, but when you survive it and even talk about it therapeutically, it makes you stronger because you've dealt with tough situations, and that'll help you deal with tough situations in the future. And again, I'm not condoning violence or bullying or stress or drama, but it's like as you get exposed to stuff, it can help you build up what's called resiliency. When I served in the military or the Army, resiliency was the main thing people focused on because everyone deals with stuff. In the military, you deal with stuff. What breaks one person versus another is having built up resiliency by dealing with stuff and growing from it, as opposed to being exposed to something and then it breaks you down. So in my opinion, Victor wouldn't really have much resiliency built up because he's used to running from trouble like the creatures, more than likely even running from adults and hiding from people as they came into town. So now he's going to Ethan, who he identifies with, him and Julie. And now you got Jim all in his face, manhandling him, embarrassing him. Then also you got Jade going through his rooms, taking his violin that belonged to his mom. You have people entering into his space, re-traumatizing him, giving him stress, and his room is somewhat like his sanctuary, in my opinion. Same thing with the back of the Peach truck. These new people coming into town, they're eating up the food, they're encroaching in Victor's space, causing him physical confrontation. Even Jade was like in his face, don't you want to go home? Jade was yelling at Victor, don't you want to go home? And Victor's like, I am home. Victor's being re-traumatized seasons 1, 2, and 3. He's being re-traumatized. Well, imagine a Victor who believes Fromville is his home. He wants to basically help out Tabitha, Ethan, and Julie. After Jim is found deceased, they become cold to him and he goes back to feeling alone. Even Donna's going to be kind of like standoffish, dealing with Elgin and the iPop situation is Sarah. And also, it's probably going to come out that Fatima took out Tilly. People are going to lose faith in Donna and Colony House. And then it's probably going to come out even more that Boyd was trying to cover it up. So now Donna, who at least had a working relationship with Boyd, doesn't trust Boyd. And then here comes Acosta wanting to take over Donna's territory. Everyone's going to be no longer using kid gloves with each other, especially with Victor. Imagine if someone comes to Victor and is like, I can make you strong, I can make you powerful. Victor probably would say yes. Tired of being afraid, don't want to be traumatized anymore, wants to be stronger. And then guess what? What is Victor like? He likes peaches. Peaches are sometimes orange, but they're on the same color scale as yellow. So Victor, liking peaches, may have got this new power, this new lease on life. He went and found some clothes, wanted to be a new man, and he went and found a yellow suit that looks too big on the man in the yellow suit. But if you've ever had a child or raised a child or whatever, been around children, you know that when they dress themselves, they wear too big clothes because they want to seem bigger than what they are. Don't ask me, okay? You may have not experienced that with your child or children, but that's what children would do. If a child can dress themselves, they'll be in rain boots, They'll they'll put on too big clothes to be like a big buff superhero or superheroine, and the man in the yellow suit kind of seems like he's somebody who got this suit and needs to grow into it. So it's not far-fetched for Victor to find these clothes, change how he is. He likes peaches. Peaches are normally orange or maybe sometimes even yellow. Yellow might be his favorite color because of the peaches and the peach truck. Next thing you know, he puts on the yellow suit and becomes the man in the yellow suit. And if you give Victor a haircut or he loses hair, his ears are probably the same as the man in the yellow suit. I'm just saying. I mean, it's a stretch. It's a yoga stretch. I know we want to lean more towards Randall being that guy, because they got the same ears and everything. Randall could be that guy, but it would make more sense for Victor to really want to go through a transformation to become something different, as opposed to someone like Randall, who probably is just kind of being a bully like he was when he first showed up. Somewhat pushing around Elgin when Elgin threw up. And I mean, he did apologize to Elgin, but I think Randall has the personality of someone who is used to getting his way, used to pushing people around and being the tough guy, and now he's afraid. I don't think that he has been in from or the township long enough to want to actually alter his appearance, alter himself genetically, and make himself completely different. I think that he still would want to go home, but Victor is home. So if somebody has to drink blood, sacrifice some stuff, I think Victor would do it. And also remember, Victor didn't want to have anything to do with Ethan until Ethan mentioned the boy in white. I could see Victor becoming the man in the yellow suit, just like I could see Randall becoming the man in the yellow suit. But I think it's more logical that Victor would do it. Okay, it took a side step for me just to kind of throw that out there as far as the theory. I might do a separate video on that. I'm not really sure, but I think it would be the man in the yellow suit or someone who's human, who's performing a ritual and wants to turn this into a faraway treat. Okay, so remember, Kelly was talking fine. She wanted to give Christy, Kenny, and Ellis a message to give to her mom, saying that she got into a stupid fight over Brian, didn't hug her mom before leaving. So Kelly was fine until this moment right here. Kelly started screaming out of nowhere, but let's go a little bit further back to capture why we think she was screaming like this.
Kelly, what's wrong? Did you hear that? Kelly, it's safe.
Kelly asked, did you hear that? Or did you hear this? She says, what is that? Do you hear that? Or whatever that is. So it's something that only Kelly can hear. It can't be the cicadas, because the cicadas were made later on in the season when Boyd gave the worms to Smiley, and then the worms became the cicadas. So it can't be the cicadas. If it was the music box monster, we would have heard the music box rhyme. The music box monster was associated with the noise or the rhyme. We didn't hear that. Now, it could be the man in the yellow suit, but the times we have been exposed to him, which is Jim talking on the radio, Kenny talking on the phone, and even seeing him engage with Jim, I think that the writers and even the director would have given us some type of hint of the man in the yellow suit for us to say, okay, the man in the yellow suit is involved in this. We have not seen the creatures do anything like this in the show. So I'm ruling out creatures. I'm ruling out the man in the yellow suits. Cicadas weren't created yet. No music box monster. Now, you could say maybe the boy in white. I don't think the boy in white would do this. It seems like the boy in white doesn't like to get his hands dirty, except for pushing Tabitha out of a lighthouse. Okay. So the boy in white will get his hands dirty like that, but I don't think this is the boy in white either. I think this is an actual human or someone in a cult, the same cult that the original Jade and Tabitha were in, that more than likely did this. As far as the bar and her being impaled to the tree. Now, as far as her screaming, here's what I think happened. Okay, so when Julie Story walked, she saw herself, Marielle, and Randall's like soul spirits on the wall screaming. That made Julie cover her ears and start to crouch down, because I think the energy that was being projected from them screaming was not just hurting her audibly, but also physically. It's breaking her down. Now, we know that, I mean, obviously, Kelly's having a near-death experience. So it's possible that the energy of Fromville can be interacting with and affecting her in a way greater than energy would in the real world, meaning it doesn't really affect you. But here in Fromville, everyone, according to Fatima, has dreams, visions. Everyone's basically affected. So with Kelly just arriving in the town and having a near-death experience, I believe that she's attuned to the energy of Fromville, and she's going to start hearing the screaming like Julie's hearing the screaming. But she's not hearing the screaming of Julie, Marielle, and Randall, because again, the cicadas have not been created for the event that story walking Julie's experience to happen. So I don't think that Kelly is hearing the three in the dungeon. I think she's hearing the teddy bears being sacrificed. Let's watch further on to the scene. So this is what I think that Kelly was sensing and even hearing while she was impaled on the tree. So I think that she was attuned to the energy of Fromville and heard Ankui and was like, what is that? The teddy bears are starting to scream. Ankui, now they're screaming. You see how it's affecting Julie, and you can tell by her face that it's affecting her. It's making her cry. In the dungeon, when Julie, Marielle, and Randall were screaming, that made Julie crouch down, cover her ears in pain, hearing the energy from them, or getting the energy from them while they're screaming. But now, while hearing the teddy bears being sacrificed, Julie's not crouched down and covering her ears. It's making her sad because she's sensing the energy. I think it's the same way with Kelly. I think Kelly is experiencing the same thing that Julie was experiencing while she was story walking. Okay, let's play the scene with Kelly, hear what she says, and then we'll hear her do the rest of the scene.
What is that?
Ankui, what is that?
Hey. Kelly, what's wrong? Do you hear that?
You hear that? I'm thinking that she's hearing Ankui, and she's like, what is that?
Kelly, it's safe.
So the same way that Julie heard Ankui, she's like, what is that? Then when she heard the teddy bear screaming, that's when Julie became sad. I think that's what happened with Kelly. Kelly first heard Ankui, that's below her in the cave system. And then once the teddy bears start to pour their hope and their energy into the roots, or just pour it out as far as their psychic energy, Kelly is sensing it, and now she's screaming. And it's not because she's in pain, because she's been there a while and no one has touched her, no one's moved her. And even Christy was saying that she may have hours of life left, but they wanted to end her life because the creatures were going to come and do some horrible stuff to her. Kelly was screaming, and I think now she's kind of absorbing, still being overloaded by the energy, because whatever teddy bears were being sacrificed, they're gone now. Their energy is going into the tree. And I think that's why we have this wide shot here showing this entrance. This is a baby faraway tree in this theory, a baby faraway tree. That's why it's so thick. That's why she's impaled against it. And this opening is right here while the tree is being created, and whatever ritual is going on is going to make this tree be converted and transformed into a full-grown faraway tree. See, Julie's experiencing whatever she's feeling right at the first on Kui. See, it's starting to affect her. It's hurting her. But it's not to the point where she's covering her ears. So I think she's more of like sensing it, just like Kelly was while impaled onto the tree. For further emphasis on anyone can story walk, anyone can sense Fromville, any and everyone experiences stuff, we're going to listen to Fatima explain this to Elgin.
Closest thing to normal fun we have here.
Why do they call it the Brundles?
It was just called that when I got here.
So there's a lot of things in Fromville, more than likely even the choosing ceremony, that was created by someone or something, and it's been passed down from generation to generation. I thought that was interesting. This place might not even be the Brundles. It may be really something else. And if it's called what it really is, there may be a map that someone brings into town, especially like in the RV. There may be a map or an atlas or something where if you get the actual name of this water, you could probably figure out where Fromville is. I think someone changed a lot of names and created things to further plant seeds of confusion so people don't know where they are. I mean, think about it. We have 3 seasons total, seasons 1, 2, and 3. We have had no planes, no helicopters, no cell phone signal. You should at least be able to see a helicopter, see a plane, or find the wreckage of it. But we have seen no planes, no helicopters, no cell phone signal. And even when Jim created a radio, he went through several different possibility of channels, and the only thing that he got was the man in the yellow suit. So it's really reasonable to believe that it could be a pocket universe to where they're completely separate from the actual universe, or it could be like Dark City, that movie, where they're on a whole other planet, going into the whole UFO theory. But I mean, the creator said it's not UFOs and they're not dead, so that rules it out. But I thought that was odd that no helicopters, no planes, no cell phone signal, no anything.
How did you know about
I
this?
saw it.
Were you the one on the bus that had the dream? Yeah, those happen sometimes. People have all sorts of strange reactions to this place.
People have all types of strange reactions to this place, but because people have been there for Fatima's been there a year, other people have been there maybe longer than a year. Once people come and they're trying to solve the mystery, people who are there, who have accepted their fate, they more than likely are talking people out of trying to figure things out. But in my opinion, I think everyone story walks, everyone has prophetic dreams. They just don't really explore the idea because majority of the people who are there are comfortable and they've accepted that there's no escape and no point in figuring anything out. Remember when Jade first arrived, Kenny was like, look, everybody has been trying to solve the mystery. Give it up, blah, blah, blah.
Dreams, nightmares, weird premonitions, but we don't know why or what it means. Why it happens to some people and not to others.
I think it does happen to others. They just don't say anything because they don't want to be labeled as crazy.
One girl, Nadia, she used to say that it was like this place was calling out to us, but only some of us were listening closely enough to hear it.
So we don't know who Nadia is. We don't know who Nadia is. Maybe we might get more information about Nadia season 4, season 5, maybe a flashback or something. But Nadia is saying this place is calling out to us, but only some of us were able to hear it. I think Nadia is just like with Tilly, where they could give insight, but Tilly's taken out by Fatima of all people, and Nadia was name only. Maybe that Nadia person will be revealed in a flashback, and that could kind of give more information, or maybe someone in town knows Nadia and can kind of like say, well, Nadia used to say this, Nadia used to say that, and this is what she thought, and they can kind of use that to kind of further along the plot. So there it is. Yeah, no planes or helicopters, no cell phone towers, no cell phone signal. You got electricity, but no cell phone signal. Interesting. And I'm sure they probably tried to use the telephones to call. Phones don't work. Unless talking to another phone in town, who knows? But what do you think? Oh, almost forgot. Almost forgot the best part of the show. All right, so got some people keeping the lights on. I appreciate it.
Don't forget to like, sub, and share. Thank you.
Yes, got to do it. Got to do it. Got to do it. All right, so we have a super thanks from Mike O'Sullivan. Thank you for the super thanks and being a channel member. I appreciate it.
You're also keeping the lights on around me. What is up?
Yes, so he says there will be an 80s style training montage when getting that story walking down pat. Julie Balboa on top of Colony House, arms aloft. Talking when I did a channel member video talking about Julie working on getting the story walking together, getting right. And I said, thank you, Mike Sullivan, for the super thanks. Not Colony House, think bigger. She's going to be at the lighthouse, getting it together, getting strong, getting buff. That way, when she does go to try to change the story, she's going to be jacked.
You're damn right.
Yeah, she's going to be jacked. So thank you, Michael Sullivan, for the super thanks. I appreciate it. Got another one from Michael Sullivan. Thank you for being a channel member and donating another super thanks. He says the talismans depict Jade and Tabitha in the middle of the forest. I had to block out the adult theme stuff. Had to do it. Don't mind, but yeah, I blocked it out for putting it on the post and putting on the video. So what I could put out there is the talismans depict Jade and Tabitha in the middle of the forest. So there it is. Thank you for the super thanks.
All right.
And I responded, in the middle of the forest, like Adam and Eve. Yeah, getting it on. Adam and Eve doing it up. So thank you, Michael Sullivan, for another super thanks. Thank you very much. All right, and so one last one from Adventurous Exile, giving a super thanks and being a channel member on the talisman stone engravings are esoteric icons, not people. I laid it out on that one. A lot of people liked it. So thank you. Adventurous Exile says, this is fire. You know what? I appreciate it.
You're out here doing the damn thing. Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yes, I'm glad you liked it. Thank you. And thank you for everyone who has watched the video, supported during this off time between season 3 and season 4, which was basically 2025. Thank you for everyone. Thank you. So before I let you go, I would like to ask if you could watch ads without skipping, become a channel member. If you don't want to be a channel member, that's fine, no pressure. Become a YouTube premium member. Donate through super thanks if you care, if you want to, if you can. If not, no biggie. You can also donate through Cash App. That's $Spade Parkland. Thumb up the video, comment in the comment section, share everywhere, including your YouTube community tab. If watching on a cell phone and you see the hype button, click and hype me up. They give you 3 of them within a 7-day period. Thank you.
It's called survival.
Yes, we're trying to survive out here. So What do you think on all the different theories and everything I laid out? Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thumbs up the video, share everywhere, including your YouTube community tab. Please and thank you. Until next time, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Go forth, do great things, and I'm out. Peace.
No, I have done fucking around. You pick, look at me. You don't get to pick and choose what you tell us. Everything you know, everything you've seen, it all matters. Because that may be how we go home. Don't you want that? Huh? Wouldn't you like to go home? This is my home.